What is going on, my beautiful people? As you can see by the title of this video, today we're going to be looking at Uniswap v3. Now, if you already know, before we kind of get into everything, you know that I've been yield farming on Polygon for quite a while, and I kind of felt like that was the only place for me to kind of spread my wings in sort of yield farming. I really felt like Polygon was currently the only way to actually yield farm without having to pay high fees, and those long transaction periods. But it turns out that you can still make a good amount of money on the regular Ethereum main chain using Uniswap. So today I'm going to kind of show you guys what I've been doing with Uniswap, how I've been making a little bit of money off it, so you can do it maybe yourself as well. We'll also be actually doing it live as well because I had to do a couple of things. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. We got Uniswap live on the screen here. If you're not familiar, Uniswap v3, this is pretty much like the new Uniswap that came out more recently. And the main difference between Uniswap v3 and v2 are what they call concentrated liquidity positions. And essentially, if you go over to the pool over here, this is going to pretty much show you what types of pools that you already have and the positions you already have. And it'll tell you the range in between where your liquidity is concentrated. We're gonna get into a little more explanations and all that stuff, but I just want to be clear. That's why Uniswap v3 is different than v2, and why I'm personally providing liquidity for v3 instead of v2, because v2 still exists. It's it's a smart contract; it'll exist forever. But v3 in this case, I think is a lot more. It's a lot more capital efficient, and I think that's what Hayden Adams likes to talk about on Twitter a lot. So let's get into my position real quick. And again, before we get into this, I'm no expert by any means on like DeFi, yield farming, whatever. I'm just, a dude experimenting with this stuff and kind of reporting back to you guys on my findings, pretty much. So let's get into it. So number one, obviously the Uni ETH pair. Now, I specifically chose this pair, number one, because ETH is like the number one asset that I want to be collecting over time. That's something I want to be stacking as much as possible. People talk about stacking sats. I'm trying to stack some Gwei. Shout out to ETH. Uni is the other asset that I'm like I wouldn't mind having a lot of Uni either, because I love Uniswap, their governance. The guys they're out of Brooklyn over here, so everything about Uniswap I love. So I don't mind having a lot of Uniswap either. So to me, I think when you're doing this, you should find a pair of tokens that you don't mind having like a ton of, because you're going to see why in a second. But ETH and Uni, in terms of like the liquidity I have put in here, about $5,000. I don't mind having that 5,000 ETH or Uni in this case. Secondly, as you can see, and I kind of want to throw this out there, you see this is my position essentially over here. This is another huge difference between V3 and V2, is the fact that your liquidity position aren't just like kind of tokens that you throw into the chain, and then you're given like what do you call it? And then you're given liquidity pool tokens instead. No, instead of being given liquidity pool tokens that represent your position, you're given an NFT that shows you like kind of, it's really cool. It pretty much shows you again like your range, how much liquidity you have, and where within that range the price currently is. So like obviously I can't show it live because the price range isn't moving right now. But if it were to be in range, you'll see this little dot kind of move back and forth between this line over here. So I just thought also that's something that was really cool. Now that we have the position kind of explained there, let's talk about the liquidity range, which is going to be over here. So this is going to be one of the most, I think the most important parts about Uniswap v3 and kind of explaining it is min price and max price. So pretty much, as you can see, because I have a Uni ETH pair, I have to go ahead and pretty much put my range in terms of either Uni per ETH or ETH per Uni. We're going to go with Uni per ETH. So in this case, my min price is 95 Uni per ETH. So that means that I want personally to be providing liquidity for the price range of 95 Uni per ETH between 97.8 Uni per ETH. So if it goes out of this price range, I won't be collecting any fees on it. That's why you see right now it says out of range. This price, as you can see, the price of this pool is outside of your selected range. Your position is not currently earning fees. That's going to be one of the negative parts about V3, is that you need to actively monitor your position. Really just depending, right? And part of the bad part about that is that, like, for example, if it's out of range and I want to get back in range, I have to, as far as I'm concerned, withdraw my liquidity and go back in, and adjust the price range, obviously. The problem is that it costs a lot of money to do that because of the fees. However, I will say that because my price range is so tight, 95 and 97, like the fees that I get are a lot. Like when it's in that price range, when people are trading back and forth, it's a lot of money. So for example, you can see I have $98 in unclaimed fees. I pretty much got around like $70 of that, literally within like a 24-hour period after putting in like 5,000 bucks. Before that, I think I had like $800 deposited and I made like 20 something dollars in like 2 days. But after I put in 5K, I made like 70 bucks in like literally less than 24 hours. So as you can see, that's quite, I mean, that's a lot. That's really, really efficient in terms of me just throwing in 5K, whatever it is, and getting 70 bucks from it. Like percentage wise, that's a lot. So that's why I'm starting to look more at UniV3 and providing more liquidity for positions that I am a fan of. Like next one I might do is like ETH Anchor if they have it. Obviously they have it, but you know, whatever. But I love this kind of model because it's like you get so much money from it, depending how much risk you want to take on. Again, you know, because of that, because I get that crazy amount of fees, you know, obviously when it moves out of range, I'm not getting anything. So again, that's kind of like that's kind of the risk you take. And then I should say, actually, as you kind of go farther out, you know, you won't get as many fees. So you'll get more fees technically within that price range, but the fees won't be as high, if that makes sense. So what we're going to go ahead and do is after showing you guys my profit, I want to go ahead and show you guys this calculator because we're actually going to withdraw the liquidity that I had over there because I kind of want to change it. I want to start collecting fees again. So as you can see, there's this Uniswap V3 fee calculator. I think this just came out like a couple days ago. And there are a couple other ones out there as well, but I think this one is like really, I think it's a lot easier to kind of picture, essentially. So we're gonna kind of go ahead and like kind of walk us through it. So as you can see, that you want to go ahead and select the pool. We're gonna go ahead and go to Uni ETH. Bam. We're gonna go ahead and set the investment number here. We're gonna put in 5,700. That's how much I have right now. Now this is going to say move active price assumption. This is essentially where the price currently is at. As you can see, according to this, the price is at 98.6. We can just leave it at 99. There's no, we'll make it more accurate, 98.6. And my liquidity bounds, we're going to see if we can match up what I have here. So 95.5 and 97.8. And something to keep in mind is that although this is a great visualizer to see kind of where your stuff is at, and I'll kind of explain what this is too in a second, it won't be entirely accurate because at the end of the day, like you know, trading on Uniswap is quite inconsistent, I would say. It really just depends on if people are trading your pair or not. So as you can see, we have the liquidity bounds here, and obviously it's saying that we have 24-hour fee is $0 because we're outside of the range. The price assumption is outside of our liquidity range. So if we were to put it back in range, let's try to put it back in here. You can see that 24-hour fee goes up a lot, right? And again, that's just when we're in that range, and that's probably why I got so much money the other day. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. You can end up getting 277% annual returns if you want to take that risk and kind of get those concentrated liquidity positions in those pairs. For these pairs. So what you'll see here, and obviously again, this is going to be the price curve, right? That's kind of what this represents. So again, this is my position right now, and whenever the actual price of the Uni ETH pair is within my range, I'm getting a ton of fees, right? Especially when it's closer to the middle. But as you can see, when it starts moving out, I have zero fees, either on this side or on this side. So in this case, what I'm going to probably do is withdraw my liquidity and kind of widen out my liquidity bounds. So let's say we're over here now, right? $44 annually. I kind of just want to see how it's going to adjust itself. So let's say I raise it to 100 and I lower the other one to, it's already going down so much. Let's say we just do that. We raise it to 100. Pretty much what that would mean is, assuming that we're right around the same price, my 24-hour fee would still be pretty good. So what I might do is set my liquidity balance to 95 uni per ETH and 100 uni per ETH, so we can kind of get, although I won't be getting as much technical like liquidity when it's in the range, although I'm not getting as much fees because it's not in the range, I'll technically be getting more fees rather than like higher amounts. Because essentially what it does is when the price of the Uni ETH pair is actually within that range, right? From what I understand, like 100% of your capital is being used at that time. And that's why you get such high fees, because $5,700 of my liquidity is being used actively. Whereas in Uniswap V2, only part of your liquidity is being used, you know? So that's kind of the biggest deal, especially when you're doing concentrated stuff. However, you can see this is kind of where most of the liquidity is actually pooled in terms of like where people are providing liquidity for, in terms of what range. And you can see there's actually very little people providing liquidity over here, and they're probably making a lot of money from it because there's not that many positions over there. Most of the positions are actually where I have it at, which is right between that 95.6 and 97 point whatever range. So I might go ahead and actually, again, just withdraw my liquidity and kind of stretch it out to 100. The only issue that we're going to have now is going to be the fact that, as you can see here, because of the way this works, and I should have explained it maybe a little bit earlier, is if the current price range goes above the max price, in this case, in the Uni per ETH pair, 100% of my liquidity will be concentrated in Uni. So as you can see right now, I have 100% Uni tokens. And when I first submitted it, I had like 50-50, more or less. However, if the current price were to go below 95.6 or 95.5 Uni per ETH, I'd have 100% Ethereum. So as you can see, the liquidity providing is a little bit more complicated for V3 than V2, but it's just so much more interesting though. So what we're going to do is go ahead and remove the liquidity, and I'm going to try to find a way to provide that 100% of Uni I'm talking about at the same time and get a bigger price range. So I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that, but we're going to go ahead and try it out anyways. And the good thing is that I'm also going to be collecting my $100 in fees. So let's go ahead and remove 100%. I really hope the gas fees are cheap today. $20. Okay, it's not that bad. All right. The crazy part is that I probably wasted more money withdrawing it and taking it out than I have just leaving it in there. Oh my God. It's fine though. It's fine. So we're going to go ahead and wait for that to kind of finish pending as well. And what I'm planning on doing is going ahead and setting the liquidity bounds again from probably, I might even set it even lower. The thing is that I don't mind having a lot of ETH. Like, so at the end of the day, I'd rather have a lot more ETH than Uni, but I don't really mind either way. And as you can see, there's very little people over here right now, so I definitely want to take advantage of that. So again, plan, extend the max range to 100, which means like by like a couple more, Uni per ETH, points, I guess, and hopefully collect more fees off of it. And again, I think this 24-hour fee, I think this calculator is, believe it or not, actually underrepresenting what you might get in returns. It just from what I've seen, again, because I got a lot more than $40 the other day when I did that. Here we go. All right, so we removed the liquidity. What we're gonna go ahead and do now is go back to the pool, and I'm gonna. Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know it did that. I wonder if I can provide liquidity for this thing again. Increase liquidity, and okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and change the price bounds in the other one. So let's go ahead and do a new position. We're gonna do Uni per ETH. Let's see, Uni price, ETH price. There we go, ETH price. Okay, 95, 97, 98.63 is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and do max. The market price is currently outside of your price range, single asset deposit only. So we're gonna have to go ahead and somehow deposit single assets, only our Uni pair. So I'm gonna have to find a way on how to do that. Let's see if we can actually go ahead and go ahead. Oh, here we go. Okay, we can just go ahead and add it right there. Oh wow, that's a lot. Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot of money. 63. Wait, what? Oh, because I had an extra amount of Uni in my wallet. Okay, that's why. I'm like, whoa. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add this pair, but it's staying out of the price range. So I'm trying to see if we can go ahead and just change it though. I may have to go ahead and let's see if we can go back to the overview over here. More, create a pool, migrate. Here we go. New pool. We're gonna do Uni and ETH, 0.3%. And by the way, this is going to be kind of like a fee breakdown of how much you want to end up making. And you can really just put it depending on the kind of pair you're getting. So in this case, for stable pairs, like if you have USDC and USDT or DAI and USDC, like stable coins essentially, maybe, you can use 0.05% fee because no one's going to want to pay 0.3% on trading their stable coins back and forth. It's not going to happen. This also, by the way, probably works with derivatives. So if you have, like, for example, actually, yeah, that is true. Like ETH and wrapped ETH, I guess. Anyways, the point is that if you're using more like unorthodox pairs, you're gonna want that 1% fee. And as far as I'm concerned, this is more for like pairs that like aren't really popular, aren't really mainstream like that. And you can probably check that out in like the charts section over here, because it should give you kind of like an overview of like the most popular pools. Uni ETH is like the 5th one, and it tells you what the slippage is, so you know which one, so you know that you're joining the right pool. But the 1% fees are like the ones like all the way back here, for example, like NXM or Shiba 2 with ETH, like the way more volatile ones. In this case, we're using like a regular 1.3% fee, best for most pairs. And what we're gonna do is take a look at the min price. I'm gonna set it again to, can I change it over here? I'm gonna set it to 95 and set this to 100. As you can see over there, 94.99, 100.26. And we're going to provide the max amount of uni, but I'm going to need to find a way to actually only provide liquidity for this pair. I think, you know what I might have to be able to do? I might only be able to provide liquidity then if I put it exactly on that spot. Hold on, let's see. 98.52. Okay, so a single asset deposit only. Okay, I think we should be good actually. Hold on, so then if I put it back to 100. Yeah, okay, I see. So I think what we can do is be as close to it as possible and still add that most of that uni, as you can see, right? Okay, there we go. So we're depositing 100% of my uni, no ETH. The ETH price per uni is 98.5. Let's just hope that it doesn't go any farther than this. Because if it goes any further above 9.4, 9.5 right now, then I'm pretty much like, SOL. But I get it. So we're going to go ahead and add it. $29 in gas fees. Oh, baby. Dude, I wasted how much money did I waste on that? Like $50? Just changing my position. And I only made $100 from that before. So as you can see, it's not like, if you have to constantly manage a liquidity position, it's probably not that worth it. But again, I'm mainly doing this just kind of show you guys how to do it more or less. What my experience with it has been so far. I just show you how to do it if you don't know how to. But again, I think this is a great way though to yield farm, literally in the long term, to be honest with you. And I think this is what I'm going to start doing, because I'll be honest, as much as I love Polygon and other different side chains or L2s that are probably going to come out, I like the idea of just being able to being on the main chain of Ethereum, knowing that it's as secure as possible and being able to yield farm on it. I just feel a lot better knowing that I'm on the ground level of Ethereum rather than on a bridge somewhere, yield farming over there. And technically your assets are never really as safe as they are if they're on the main chain. So this is what I'm doing currently. I'm probably going to take some of my anchor actually and provide it into one of the pools over here. I don't know if it's getting that much, trading or volume going on there. So I may not get that much in fees. But I just thought it was something interesting. I mean, let me know what you guys think. If you do plan on doing something like this, I definitely recommend you kind of take a look at the pairs that you like personally the most, right? And maybe provide liquidity for those, right? Like if you're a Link fan and you don't mind having ETH either, then join the Link ETH pool, right? If there's another pool here that's a little more unorthodox, maybe like the ETH tribe, I don't even know what the hell tribe is, then go ahead and do that. The only thing that I think I'm not too sure on is how impermanent loss works here. I don't think it's as much of an issue on V3. I could be wrong there. I could be 100% wrong. So that's why I'm not even bothering with any stable pairs, because stable pairs will make it a lot worse. Although it'll make you a little bit less risk exposed. I don't know, man. To me, Uni ETH pair is pretty unrisky in my opinion. I like that pair. So that's just me. Let's take a look at my actual current position. Obviously it's out of range. So the hope right now is that it comes back into range and goes below the 98.5 uni per ETH. But nonetheless, if you want to kind of keep track of what I'm doing in terms of DeFi stuff and all that, give me a follow on Twitter. I pretty much post more or less what I'm doing in terms of DeFi all the time on there, and just kind of keep people updated with what I'm kind of looking at. I do have something interesting in the works in terms of, not me personally, but I have my eye on a new ecosystem that's coming out soon. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of it. It's Arbitrum, obviously. But they're essentially going to be a new layer 2 on Ethereum. And I think what's going to happen is I think that most people are going to move a lot of their stuff from Polygon and from the Ethereum main chain over to Arbitrum because of how many projects are going to be deploying on it. I don't have any insider information. I just, know all this stuff because they had a interview on Bankless, I think it was a couple days ago, and they kind of spilled the beans, as they say over there. But I would definitely keep your capital ready for that if you are trying to yield farm. I definitely will probably be moving some of my stuff over there because I hear that a lot of the big projects are going to be there. I think including Uniswap. I think, but we'll see. Nonetheless, this is what I'm doing. What are you guys doing? Are you getting involved in Uniswap liquidity pool staking? Are you getting a whole bunch of fees? Let me know down below. That's what I'm doing today, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace out.